Good morning, Major Davis and Chief Herrera. First of all, I just wanted to appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to allow me to discuss deliberate development with you. What is deliberate development? Deliberate development is the continuous process of developing our airmen both personally and professionally. Why is this important for both you and the squadron as a whole? In accordance with Air Force Instruction 36-2618 of the Enlisted Force Structure, specifically states that we need to deliberately develop our junior enlisted airmen, NCOs, and senior NCOs in order to become effective leaders, followers, and supervisors. Not only this, but investment. We need to invest in our airmen. With the uncertainties that we have within the world right now, and our adversaries continuously trying to gain the upper hand on how we conduct business, we need to make sure that we are equipping our airmen to be able to make sound, fast, agile decisions at a moment's notice. So as the first sergeant within FSS for the past 4 months or so, I have done a lot of observing, and I've noticed some areas that we could improve upon. One of those areas being the deliberate development process. And a course of action to help resolve this issue is to have our key stakeholders, which are going to be our senior enlisted leaders for this scenario, to help fix and remedy this problem that we currently have. So what we're going to be discussing today, just an overview, is a problem statement that I formulated utilizing the 8-step process of the OODA loop, which is something that I learned at the Senior NCOA Academy, and it's going to be perfect for this given scenario. And we'll dive in a little bit here shortly, which brings me to the purpose of this briefing. The purpose of this briefing is to enhance mission effectiveness by deliberately developing our airmen across all tiers. So the first thing that we're going to be discussing is that problem statement, and it reads as follows. FSS personnel do not receive sufficient deliberate development opportunities. A lack of deliberate development can result in an unhealthy work environment and a lack of trust in leadership. And I received this problem statement by conducting a SWOT analysis, which are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'll discuss a little bit about the negative side of it. So your weaknesses, we have limited mentorship by FSS leadership. We have limited FSS senior NCOs to provide mentorship to subordinates. I realize that we do have a lot of senior NCOs within FSS, but they are in special duties, and they are already task saturated, and they cannot help with the mentorship to subordinates across the entire unit. Also, I know I'm guilty of it, but getting out from behind the desk. Some of the threats, if we continue down this path, are retention rates are going to continue to drop. I was talking to the Career Assistance Advisor, Sergeant Russell, and Mountain Home Air Force Base specifically has the lowest retention rates across any other base Air Force wide. That's absurd, and I'm accepting the challenge to fix that problem. Faith in leadership is also diminished, if we continue down this path. A further step would be your gap analysis, and essentially what this talks about is your desired state, where we want to go, and we've already discussed that, and then also kind of where you reside. But what action steps do you need to take to get there? So action steps for this particular situation would be, first of all, we need to conduct a DEOC survey. Sir and Chief, I know you just recently came here to Mountain Home and about 2 months ago, so we need to conduct a DEOC survey just to kind of assess the climate. We can even tailor some of the local questions toward the deliberate development side of things, just to see if we're hitting the nail on target. And then after that's complete, we could also establish monthly breakfasts with all ranks, even our lowest airmen. I think it would be extremely beneficial for them to kind of know the strategic vision and some of the decision making that we make here within the squadron. It'll benefit them as well as senior NCOs. Also, we could host weekly bi-weekly lunch and learns. We live in an awesome world here in FSS, and we have a lot of the resources. We've got the Airman Family Readiness Center with a lot of subject matter experts there that can add a lot of tools to our kit. We also have the Career Assistance Advisor that has a plethora of different people that are subject matter experts on a variety of different topics that we could utilize. And then also, even here in-house, we've all got our own story and experiences, and it might be something that we could portray to the younger airmen and even NCOs that, hey, yes, I'm a first sergeant, but when I was your rank and age, I scraped my knee, I fell on the ground, and bounced back, and here I am. So just letting them know that there is light at the end of the tunnel if they're struggling a little bit. Also, allowing flight chiefs to conduct technical proficiency training, allotting them and affording that time so that they can even cross-utilize some of their resources. For instance, at the military personnel flight, maybe having outbound assignments, understand what promotions does, and vice versa, so that they kind of understand where they fit. Value stream mapping, this is just a little bit of visual aid for you to kind of see, once again, where we're at, and it just lays out the path of where we're going. We already mentioned we're going to conduct the DEOC survey. That's going to take about 60 days so that we can have 100% participation. Review it. I will schedule a senior enlisted leader meeting so that I can discuss with them the way forward, the path that we're going to be taking, that trajectory. And then I will conduct a follow-up meeting with you before we activate that plan. Make sure you don't have any concerns with what was discussed with our senior enlisted leaders. Activate the plan. 6 months later, we'll conduct a survey just to make sure that we're on track. If we're not, we will start that process over until we get it right. I wanted to determine the root cause, so I utilized the 5 whys. We already know the problem, lack of deliberate development. Root cause, after narrowing everything down, was a high deployment tempo. Can't fix that, but we have second and third order effects that we could fix. So looking at our countermeasures, we've got time. So sir, I would like for implementation of maybe 1 day designated a month so that we can deliberately develop our airmen. And this might look like, so that we're not just shutting down one entire day. This might look like 2 sessions in the month, half of one flight receiving this developmental opportunity. And then maybe toward the end of the month, we have the other half, so that we have 100% participation, but we're not stopping or impeding services toward the base. Also, hosting a time management class for our senior enlisted leaders by the Airman Family Readiness Center, and then training. Once again, we're awesome at being FSS, and we can use organic training tools here in-house and save lots of money. And we could use our education center to standardize a curriculum for facilitators and already have questions outlined for them that they feel comfortable in asking, so they're not having to reinvent the wheel, and everybody's getting the same topics. And we'll change them monthly. MPF, we already talked about the cross-utilization. And then services, dining facility. I know there's a bakery we don't use because there's only a couple of people that know how to use it. So we could have an opportunity for everyone to learn how to use the bakery equipment. Also, athletic classes at the fitness center. We could maybe have someone conduct training on how to conduct classes at the fitness center. Last 3 steps, rapid improvement event. This is something that we can get going pretty fast. So rapid improvement event would be the way for step 6, the C countermeasures through. Confirm results and process. We want to make sure that we didn't miss anything, so we might have to look back at step 2 with the gap analysis. And then standardizing successful processes. We'll be able to make sure that we established a good plan, and then also look at that feedback through surveys. And if we're not hitting it on target, we need to go ahead and restart that process. To conclude, once again, I'm very passionate about professional development, and I think it's very important. And I know with our key stakeholders, we're going to be able to streamline this perfectly. So just to recap a little bit about what we talked about, we identified the problem, and then we went through the OODA loop to identify gaps, the problem statement, and also some of the limitations in the process, and finally, standardizing it as a whole. So enacting the deliberate development is going to allow us to incorporate a new way of thinking across the entire squadron, which is going to ultimately outpace our adversaries, and it's going to undoubtedly continue making us the world's greatest Air Force. So at this time, I just wanted to let you know that I will email these slides to you, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.